Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Crafting with Stephanie. I'm Stephanie, your youth and community librarian from the Medicine Hat Public Library. Now this is part 2 of our little mini series of upcycling your old t-shirts. For this craft today, I'm going to show you how to make your very own infinity scarf using only a t-shirt. So grab an old t-shirt you have around the house that you don't want to wear anymore and a good pair of scissors, and let's get started. All right, so for this upcycled t-shirt craft, you're gonna want to get a extra large or large shirt. So whether you have that at home or if you want to go to the thrift store or the dollar store, get a large shirt. The larger the better. And the reason is because we're going to be cutting horizontal strips all the way up to the armpits. And the more strips you can cut, the thicker your scarf will be. So our first step is we're going to cut off the hem of the bottom of the t-shirt. I'm doing this one side at a time just because my scissors don't want to cut through 2 layers of fabric, but if your scissors can, all the better. Awesome, so now we're going to cut 1 inch to 1.5 inch strips all the way up to the armpit of the shirt. Now they don't have to be perfect strips, they don't have to be pretty or straight, because they're all gonna get put together into one big scarf. So let's get cutting. For this part, you do want to make sure your scissors are really sharp because you want the whole strand together to make a big loop. You'll see what I mean. If you want to be super precise, grab a ruler and a pencil and mark 1 inch all the way up before you start cutting. And there is 1 strand. So put that aside, make a pile, and we're gonna keep going. Find it helpful if you're able to press and stretch the fabric as you cut to make it nice and taut, so it's easier to cut it. So you don't want this to happen. I accidentally cut the ends at the very end, so we can't use this one, but that's why you want to be super careful when you're cutting right to the end, because you don't want it to come apart out of our loop. So sad! If your shirt has a logo, you can decide if you want to keep cutting up to the armpit, if it's going to include the logo or not. That's totally up to you. I'm going to see what happens. Strips cut. Now on to step 2. We're going to cut an extra piece of fabric off the sleeve, and this will come into play later when we tie up the scarf. Save that for later. Okay, so now here comes the fun part. We're gonna gather about 4 of our strips together. 4 or 5. 3, 4, 5. What you're gonna do is you're going to pull and stretch the material. Pull and stretch. And this is gonna make a really nice elongated piece of fabric for our scarf. You'll notice that as we're stretching it, the fabric's starting to curl in on itself, and that's the effect we want. If you find that they're not curling enough, you can take one individually and stretch it, but don't rip it. So this is what it should look like. See how it's nice and curly in comparison to our flat strip that we started out with. So let's keep stretching the rest of our material. Alright, so once you are happy with how stretchy your fabric is, and that's nice and curled and long, gorgeous, we're going to grab that extra piece we cut off from our t-shirt. I'm just going to cut it in half so we don't have a loop. We don't need a loop for this one. What you're going to do is grab one end of your scarf and feed it through, and we're going to create a double knot to tie all our strands together nice and tight. That's one knot, and a second knot, and then you're going to want to cut off the little bunny ears from the knot. So tied your knot. And then from there, you get to put it on. So if you don't know how to put it on an infinity scarf, you're gonna put it on as a whole, cross over once to make an infinity sign or a loop over your head. And there we go. There we have your very own DIY infinity scarf. Now you can be super creative with the colors you choose. Maybe you choose a couple different t-shirts, so there's a bunch of different colors in your scarf. Super easy, super fast and fun, a way to upcycle your clothing. If you make a DIY infinity scarf, we would love to see your creations on Instagram. Tag us at MHPLTeens. Use the hashtag craftingwithstephanie so we can see it. And have fun wearing your brand new scarf around town. Until next time, friends, stay safe.